Breakfast tacos, let's go. They're phenomenal, phenomenal. What's going on, foodie fam? So we are back again, and we are going to start with breakfast today. So this is a simple breakfast. I'm going to show you a couple of hacks that I like to use in this breakfast because, you know, you always want to make some things fast, but you do have to pre-prep to get that going. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut these potatoes, and we're going to get them into dice-sized pieces. Now, I'm actually not just going to make one potato just for today. I'm going to make a lot more for later on in the week. So all I have to do is, cook them down just a little bit, and then I'll put them into a vacuum seal bag, and then I'll just throw them in the freezer, or I can put them in the refrigerator and they'll last for a good 2 to 3 days. So as you see, I just chop them up, dice them up nicely, and I'm gonna go ahead and put this in a bowl, or actually into the sauce pot. And we're not going to worry about the starch in this because we're going to use water. So we're going to fill this up all the way up to the top. Not all the way to the top, just a little bit over the potatoes. Leave about 1 inch off to the top. And we're going to cook this like on a medium low. We're going to add some salt to it so the salt actually penetrates all the way into the potato, and we don't have to worry about salt adding later on. And all we're gonna do with this, we're just gonna let it simmer. It's gonna just do its thing. If it starts boiling a little bit, you can actually do a trick where I like to put it halfway on the eye, halfway off. And once they get to about fork tender, you want them fork tender, and you wanna be able to pull them out and just drain them. Now, if you notice, I'm not saving any of the water or anything like that. Don't need to do so. What we wanna do is just drain it and let it air dry. So I want to add some cheese to the eggs. I'm going to go ahead and shred up some cheese, and I like to put it in a container ahead of time. So cheese is already shredded. If I need any cheese, I can just go right to the refrigerator and get some cheese. There's no problem with that. So it's already ready to go. Now, these have been sitting for about 10 minutes or so. It's been drained out, and you're going to see like little white, little shady beaks on the outside. That's perfect. That's actually going to build a nice little crispy crust to it. Now we're just going to put this in here, and we're going to actually cook these probably for about 2 to 3 minutes, okay? And you're just trying to get some really deep color into it. It's not going to show too much color because we did take a lot of the starch out of it because of boiling it. But we're going to put it right in here, and there's a paper towel right under there to make sure it captures all the oil, okay? So we're going to continue to do this with the rest of the batch. Same thing. And now that the grease has already been tempered a little bit, we can actually add a little bit more. We don't have to add it in small batches. We can add a little bit more. Make sure you just stir it around a little bit to separate it so it doesn't stick. And there we go. We're going to let that cook for about 3 to 4 minutes. And the first thing we're going to do next is we need to go ahead and get the tortillas going. So what I like to do is use the air fryer. Now I have some corn tortillas. I did not have flour. I normally use flour, but I'm gonna use some corn. I'm gonna put this in the air fryer, and I'm only gonna put it in there for about a good 2 minutes. And that's it. I'm gonna put a paper towel over that to make sure it stays warm and it doesn't stiffen up. Make sure I got all these potatoes finished frying up. And if you taste this, it's so good. And you actually can still taste that salt that was boiling in it, okay? So I'm gonna get rid of the oil. And if you're not good at this, I got a steady hand, so I'm used to this. I'm gonna use the same skillet. If you don't feel comfortable with that, you can let that cool down and just use another skillet. So now let's go ahead and get the eggs going. Or we're gonna separate the eggs real quick. And I'm doing enough for me and my nephew. So I have 7 eggs in here. I'm not that hungry. Yeah, 7 eggs. I'm gonna go ahead and put that. I'm not gonna scramble it up. You can if you want, but I'm not gonna scramble it up. Next thing I'm gonna do is go back to the air fryer, and I'm gonna put my bacon in. Now you can cook your bacon two different ways. You can cook your bacon right on top of the rack, this wire rack on top of it, so that all the grease actually goes to the bottom. But I actually like to put it below the rack and cook it, so the grease actually cooks with it. So I'm looking inside, it's cooking very well. Now I want it nice and crispy. Oh yeah, that looks good. Now, with the eggs, we're gonna take a knob of butter, which if you don't know, a knob is just it's a tablespoon of butter. So you can use a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, it does not matter how much butter you use. The more butter actually, the better comes out. But I'm actually not gonna cook this on high heat. I'm gonna cook it on a slower heat, allow the butter to kind of emulsify into the eggs, and I'm just gonna keep this on a low and slow method. So I'm not trying to break up the yolk too much, but just a little bit. I like those little white bits, the yolk and the white, to kind of see throughout the eggs while you're eating. I just like it, I don't know why. We're gonna add a little pepper. And we're gonna add a dash of salt also to this, and then we'll add some cheese and a few. Keep stirring, you know, just lightly stir, don't worry about it. Now, we're gonna set this aside. Now we have our cheese almost ready to go. And we're gonna add our cheese in just a second. Now see how there's like big gaps in the middle when you move the spatula? So now that lets me know that the eggs are pretty close to done. And we can add the cheese in actually right about now. Now we're gonna take this off the eye. This is already cooked. You don't wanna cook it any further. If you cook it further, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have this watery mess at the bottom of it, and that actually is not good. So it's already cooked. We're gonna let it continue to cook as we speak. And now we're gonna take a look at our bacon. Our bacon is cooked perfectly, and we are going to save some of that oil, but I'm gonna take the bacon out real quick, have everything ready to go. And this is perfect, see? Now, like I said, I took the rack off. Now, if you don't want all that grease in there, you can keep the rack on and do it that way. But I don't mind it. Now it's just a matter of plating. We have our bacon. I'm gonna tear this up. Oh, this is hot, never mind. All right, just throw it in there. Screw that, okay. We're just gonna put the bacon in there. It's too hot, it's too hot. Throw the bacon in there, big pieces of bacon. Get a big amount of eggs, put that in there. Now, the beautiful thing about this recipe is you can do this with any meat of your liking. You do not have to use bacon. You can actually use chorizo, you can use sausage, you know, it's up to you on what kind of meat you want. I prefer using bacon, but I love chorizo. Chorizo is real good, real seasoned, like it has so much flavor into it. So if you use chorizo, I wouldn't be mad at you either. But chorizo is really good. Throw that in there, and we're gonna add some potatoes. Get some of these potatoes. Now these potatoes are crispy little bites in there, so they go so well. And like I said, I made extra, so I have some for the next day, and I've used that for later on. So this is perfect. Add that. Now all you need to do is just, you can add some salsa if you like. I didn't want any salsa. You can add whatever you like to this. I like jalapenos, and that's it. So give me some jalapenos, and I like to use the pickled jalapenos, not the regular jalapenos. Fresh jalapenos are just it's too fresh. So I'll use like a pickled jalapeno, add that to it. Oh, add a little bit more cheese to it, right on top. You know, right there. Didn't need it, but always add a little bit more cheese. More cheese is not gonna hurt you. There we go. Now we're gonna add our jalapenos. I'm using the pickled jalapenos. And like I said, this is an easy recipe. It doesn't take long to make. In and out probably in less than 10 minutes. All right, so let me know what breakfast item or any other item that you want me to make. And this is Big Ron, and I'm out. I'll talk to you later.